Disturbing ring camera video shows a medical jet en route to Springfield, Missouri, taking a nosedive shortly after 6 o'clock Friday evening in Philadelphia and exploding into a fireball.
This new angle is from Wednesday night's crash. You can see the passenger jet and the military helicopter fly towards each other, collide, then explode as pieces of both aircraft fall into the Potomac River. It is video like this that could play a key part in the investigation to find out why this took place.
All right, so in a stretch of weeks that have been absolutely full of news, these two separate news stories of two separate plane crashes are two of the most horrifying and tragic realities. And the loss of life is in the dozens. It's tragic in so many ways. In the Philadelphia plane crash, it was a pediatric patient that was returning after a successful medical intervention. In the Washington, D.C. crash, there's dozens of people who lost their lives. It is just tragic. Of all the things for Christians to process in news that's hard like this, I think one category that we really need to think a lot about is knowledge and humility. The category of knowledge and humility. Think about how humbling these events are to our knowledge as human beings. So when it first happens, everybody's talking about these are the one in Washington. This is the deadliest such accident in decades. They're both rare, and we think, how could this happen? We have all this sophisticated equipment. We have air traffic controllers. We know so much, and yet something so horrible can happen. It encourages us that as much technology as we have, as much information as we possess, we don't have enough to stop things like this from happening. Another category of knowledge and humility is all of the time we spend trying to figure out what happened. There are cockpit voice recorders and cockpit data recorders, and there's footage from the streets and footage from air towers. And what everybody is trying to do is figure out what in the world happened. It is another reminder that our knowledge is so limited, and it's going to take weeks and months for us to piece together what happened in both of these places. And at the end of the day, we're going to be left with it was something horribly tragic. Maybe the most central reality of humility and knowledge is with our thoughts about the Lord. How could the Lord allow something like this to happen? How can something like this take place in a world where there is a good God? And it makes me think of 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 to 7. And the Bible says we need to humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he would exalt us in due time, and that we need to cast our anxieties onto Jesus because he cares for us. That is a word for all of us who are processing this tragic piece of news. We need to humble ourselves under the exalted hand of God, and we need to take our heartbreak, we need to take our confusion, we need to take our tears, and we need to take our very limited knowledge, and we need to give that to Jesus. We need to cast it on him and trust him who alone cares for us perfectly.